Jodn.
Yeah, we back, episode 5, Conversations with Nash. I'm here with my bro Jodn, musical genius. You know what I mean? Because
Appreciate it.
you know what I mean?
Appreciate
He's
that.
doing his thing. I'm just here to try to figure out what's going on. Like,
Okay.
So, tell me more about your creative endeavors and how that's been.
So I started music about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently started making music, but I wanted to make it my whole life, for real. I don't know how to put it. I've just been in love with music my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And then this last year, COVID hit, and normally I work like a 9 to 5, where I'm just like, I don't have the time. My 9 to 5s are like 10, 12-hour days. I used to work in hotel management, so
Same with me.
yeah, so it's like a 10, 12-hour day. And then coming back and forth to Rockaway, it's like a 2-hour commute, especially depending on what time you get home, like the time you're getting off. So if you're getting off super late, you're probably not getting home until like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. So that just doesn't leave much time for music. So with COVID, the pandemic hit, it just gave me way more time, like way more time. And I got to finally find whatever was just kind of like around in there.
Yeah. So with the music, when did you? I know you said during COVID, but when did you realize like you had a talent?
My whole life.
So from young you knew you had
Yeah,
talent, and then
like,
just because of COVID, it boosted your endeavors.
Nah, it took some time. Like it took time to like really build the confidence to do it. Because like when I was a kid, I would sing. It wasn't like I was allowed to like really do music. I grew up like I'm Muslim, so like it's nothing but no music. You get Arabic.
Yeah, I know.
You just get nothing but Arabic. So I used to be with Muad'Din for the masjid around the corner from here. So I knew I had vocals, I knew I had pipes, that I could sing. I heard myself. But like I knew I could recite Arabic well.
Yeah.
Like and for you to be able to like recite Arabic with Arabs, I think that's like really tough.
It's a fact.
So
it's a whole fact.
Like whenever I'd be like at the masjid with my parents, their friends would always be like, yo, recite this surah, or like they would get mad hyped, just be like, yo, do this. My mom's favorite is Tala al-Badr. So I sing that every like Eid for my family. But I knew I wanted to do music. Like I knew I could sing because like all those Disney movies.
Yeah.
So like when I heard,
that's a good childhood. A lot of people don't got that now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for real. I mean, like Phil Collins, I mean, like we was talking earlier about In the Air Tonight, but that soundtrack that he does for Tarzan is a classic. Like it's super fire. So I just wanted to like, I would always tap into that stuff. My mom would be like, "That's not Korean. That's not Korean. That's not Arabic," and I was like, "All right." So like, I would secretly like listen to music. I would like break the headphones. You know how we had these?
Yeah.
I would snap them, and I just put it in my pillow.
Yeah.
And I just go to sleep like this.
Oh, you was intuitive.
Yeah, I was like with the radio playing, like in my.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, so like
I hope your mom don't see that. She gonna get at you.
She knows now. She knows now. But like I used to just hide it as much as I could, whether it be like my songbook or my drumsticks, or I used to play the xylophone. So like whatever I could like get my hands on musically, I would just hide it, and then I wouldn't say nothing about it. So I never really had the confidence to do it in front of people because I was always hiding it.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid, and then I did like auditions like American Idol. I did the American Idol in 2013. It was.
You made it onto the show? Or?
Nah. And it was weird because like it was like I auditioned for The Voice first in 2012, and then American Idol in 2013, and one of the people that was just working the event, she wasn't like a producer or anything else like that. She was just working the event, and it's like a horde of cattle. In this big ass room, like a horde of cattle, and like we're just walking and following directions or wherever they send us. And this is for The Voice. And it's like they put like maybe like 10 people in a group, and you go into the producer's room and you start singing or whatever. And as we're getting ready to go into the producer's room, and this has happened to me at every single audition, every time. So we're getting ready to go in, and she's like, "Well, first of all, I don't know why you're not just sending out music directly to the label." In my mind, I didn't think about that. I was just like, I was like, "Oh, I want to," like they sell you this dream
Yeah.
on TV, like it's
It's the process.
Yeah.
Process of it, yeah.
So like as we're in this room, this has happened, I swear, at every single audition. I get in this group of 10 people, and in this group of 10 people, back then I was just like nervous. My leg would shake when I sang, like my leg would be like this.
Yeah.
Like the knee, the joint. It would
Oh
keep
yeah,
bending.
that funny bone that area.
Yeah, so I'd just be like standing there shaking and shit. And then, but they would let me finish. And that's one thing they don't never do.
Mm-hmm.
Is like they give you like 30 seconds to like sing whatever you got. And
your voice surpassed
I got to finish the whole
image.
song every single
what I mean?
time. But then they would always go with like the girl in the army costume, or the dude who has 2 kids, or you give me like
something
with a story.
With a story, yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
And at the time I didn't have, well, at least I didn't think I had a story to tell, or I didn't have one that was set for TV.
Yeah, you don't necessarily fit the image, the mold image. It's certain. We all know certain things that they're going for. You know what I mean? Like complexion wise and stuff like that.
For sure.
It's definitely always harder.
Yeah.
Definitely always harder for us.
Nah, for sure. Yeah. And like, I mean, doing that stuff really allowed me. First, like, rejection sucks, but it does.
Yeah.
But I walked away from it with knowing that, one, I had something special. That these people, no matter if they got in or didn't get in, I had something that they didn't have, which was just me being me, myself, unique. And like I think everyone has that special thing. And then it also gave me the confidence to be like, all right, cool. Like I'm one of those people that if you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it in spite of you telling me.
That's a fact.
And it's not even like it's one of those
That's
things.
That's a good trait to have.
Yo, I may not even want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be like, if you tell me I can't, or you tell me like, hey, you're not good enough, I'd be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna show you. Like,
That's a fact.
so I'm that's the mentality that I had. So from 2013, I probably stopped performing in like 2017. But from 2013 to 2017, I just started picking up with cover bands wherever I could. So like if there was a cover band at this dive bar, I'm going there. I'm going to sing it down.
So what was one of your favorite events that you did?
Best day of your life with who runs that event? Thrillist does that event. But they had this really dope cover band set up on Ludlow Street on the Lower East Side. I did Kings of Leon, which is completely outside of like within any genre that people would expect me to sing in. But I have a thing for like acoustic music, alternative rock, and I love my voice in those spaces. And because I'm Black, it's just like it's kind of hard to find myself naturally in those spaces. I gotta kind of force it. So it was nice to kind of be around musicians that were accepting of my sound within this genre that doesn't necessarily represent me. So I thought
it's like that's the same thing with both like country music. Like people doing country music.
Yeah, my biggest influence is actually my uncle Richie Havens. He was a folk singer, and back before I even knew who he was, I thought folk music was just like dirty white people singing in the grass.
Wait. Not the guitar, but
the banjo. In my mind, like I was thinking, like they depict like hippies, and I'm like, when you see hippies on TV or mainstream media, you don't see the Black folks. You don't see, and I was like, they don't even. I mean, Jimi Hendrix is the epitome of what a Black hippie would be considered, but like I didn't understand the nuances or the differences in it. Afropunk allowed me to see Black people in all genres of music. Because a lot of it has been whitewashed so much that it's kind of hard to see myself in music that I genuinely want to do.
And the music that they try to promote with Black people is degrading. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, no, I think
to a certain extent,
I think mainstream media pushes degrading music.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but like I don't think it's the genre in itself. I think mainstream music, and that's one thing that I set out to do with my music.
There's a lot of dope underground artists.
Yo,
like
so many. Yeah. I'm meeting so many different artists. Like finally being in this creative space. I feel like once you start to affirm something, the universe allows itself to open up to you and put these pieces in place for you. So I'm meeting all these amazing artists that are independent, that are doing it on their own, that have conscious lyrics, that have thoughtful and imaginative writing. And I think that's what happened with music, is that music just got lazy. And it got lazy, and I feel like our attention spans got shorter, and it started to serve towards the attention span as opposed to creating art.
And it's not it doesn't give you the views.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people chase views, you know what I mean? They want to be in music, or they want to be in creative for the reviews, or just become famous, but they're not being true to themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I started to meet some artists that are like, we're doing the independent thing. And what they showed me is that you don't have to be famous in order to make it in music.
You gotta be consistent.
Yeah.
Consistency is key.
Working hard, a solid product, something that's like real and genuine. But also you just gotta find your people. And I think that's really what
that's a fact.
Gave me the confidence to step into music now. Because before it was always like, you know, a deal here, a deal there, and you see like these horror stories on TV, or you get a documentary 10 years later, and it's like, what the hell? So I mean,
60 deals and all that.
Yeah. So with like this new like independent distribution, and you can be your own business, and you can be your own man. It empowered me more.
This is the best time.
Yeah.
This is the best time. You really don't. The labels help, but you don't need them necessarily. You know what I mean? If you're honest with yourself, you know what I mean. You don't need them.
Yeah.
But you know, set high goals, but be honest with yourself and accept failure too. You know.
I don't see failure. Like in music, I don't see failure. It's like, I don't think you can make a bad song. I take.
You know what that goes back into? Not to cut you off. That goes back into in one of my earlier episodes, I was talking to another guy that does music, Brandon, and we was talking about everybody's their past will depict what they like and encourage. So like your music is for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whether somebody else likes it or not, that's their problem. You
There
know
we
what I
go.
mean?
Exactly.
So you're
It's
right. You
subjective.
can't. I'm forgetting the exact term, but you're right. You're right. There's no failure in music because it's you. It's what you created. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just because one person doesn't like it or 1,000 people don't like it, that doesn't mean it's a failure. You know?
But the thing is like, we all have taste, whether it be like taste in movies or etc. We all have our own unique taste, and especially as creatives, that taste is put into our art, whether it be directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
And that unique taste isn't also unique. Like they have that thing on Spotify for a reason. You may also like this person.
That's that's when you said find your people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to just find people just in general. You know what I mean? On the same wavelength, whether it be because you can have the same taste. Your same taste in music could also correlate in the same taste in music. You know what I mean? And movies. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a movie guy.
Same.
So a lot of people that I hang around is music people. So
I get you. I like when I think of music, I think of the soundtracks of films. Like when I wrote my second song, it was the third song I released, but it was the second song that I wrote. Like within this span of like learning how to write, putting out records. And with the second song, I was like, all right, cool. I saw the trailer for Malcolm and Marie, the Netflix film, the black and white one. I thought the film was beautiful.
I thought that film was amazing. A lot of people didn't like it. I'm just like, yo, you're not paying attention to. Because I'm a cinematographer, so
that's what I was looking at.
The shots in that movie were
gorgeous,
amazing.
Gorgeous.
Like, that walk around, the panning was just
even
amazing.
The static shots. It was like it was just like still, but there was still some motion going on in the background.
And they're walking about the house. The staging was amazing.
Yeah,
everything was intentional from him walking out the room to her walking into the everything was.
I even loved it like single shots when they're panning along across with them. I thought it was super dope. But like, so like I wrote that song with my own personal experiences in mind, but in thought, like the visuals before I saw Malcolm and Marie, the visuals were Malcolm and Marie. That's why I didn't even shoot visuals for my second song. I was like, what's the point? They already told the story that I want to tell. And I couldn't see telling it any other way. So that's the way I think of music in the sense of like, all right, well, what would be playing in, like, I think of like Shaft, right? I feel like my grandfather is kind of like Shaft. He's one of my other biggest musical influences.
Yeah.
Not in the sense of like he does music, but he listens to a lot of music. Like he's a fan of music. Yeah, like he has like loads, like busloads of crates of records. Yeah, and then Saturdays we would just sit on the couch, put our heads back on the armrest, and like just play the records, let them play out. And
I like time travel.
Exactly. I think like about the soundtrack to his life.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, he started in like I don't know, he was born in like the 60s, 50s. Born in the 60s, 50s. So I'm thinking about him just walking down the street. Isaac Hayes just came out, or The Whispers, or I love that song "Wishing on a Star" by Rolls Royce, and we listened to it in the car, like, and just kind of I'd like let things play in my mind when I do it. But I think about when that record came out and the soundtrack of his life. Like,
so when you listen to music, do you feel it or do you see it? Some people see the music, and some people feel the music.
It's a little of both.
I can understand that.
Yeah, it's a little of both, but more so the feeling than anything. And I've been trying to dissect that. I had this class in high school. It was a music appreciation class, and they played Sting Desert Rose. It's one of my favorite songs to go back in regards to like how to describe what that feeling, how I feel music. But there's this Arab singer in the song. She like opens it up, and I could like feel the same. Like I can feel like the Arab inspiration behind the music, and then because like I have all this Arab background, of course, like I see nothing but that.
Yeah.
And it's the same way I see music, whether it be like, for me it's sports. Like I love like, all right, I started with my way into like photography and cinematography and videography was through sports photography. Okay. And what I love to do is like, I just love to play things in slow motion and watch people run.
I'm actually shooting a video like that soon too.
Okay.
Running is an art too.
I think about the that great like explosion moment in songs.
It's a dance, and it's hard to dance without music. So it makes sense. You know?
Yeah.
Sports is definitely a dance.
Just put a track behind it, and then it'll change the entire mood of the video. Like the entire mood of whatever you was just shooting.
It goes hand in hand, because you could put a rap song behind the same video of like someone walking on the beach, and you can put a jazz song, or you can put a country song.
It makes you feel something completely different.
Completely different vibe.
And that's how I think of my music, in the sense of like, I may not do visuals all the way, because I don't have a ton of visuals for my music. I like just putting the music out and think of visuals later, because the visuals are art aspect of it. But when I do the music in itself, I'm thinking of like a movie, or I'm thinking of Bleeding Snow, the one I just released like in March.
Yeah.
That one was in regards to the Black Messiah. I love that movie. There's only a few lines that reference the movie, or like parts of the movie. But it was the movie in itself that gave me that drive, that feeling, that movie determination to be like, all right, this is what I want to say. This is how I feel. How do I push this emotion without sitting on it? So that was another one.
So is most of your songs, most of your music have messages behind it, or they're more like personal?
They're all personal, but you can pull something from it. The first one was about substance abuse. The first one was just, it was about substance abuse, how substances can't really help you heal that internal pain. You gotta do the work.
Yeah.
The second song was just for fun. It was just, don't get me wrong. It was like, I was in
I feel like you need that though.
Yeah.
The just for fun moments, because if you're so focused on creating for, like, you know, it can't be too hard on yourself. It has to be fun, when you're gonna lose your craft. You know?
This is very.
That's what they said. If you're working doing something you like, then it's not really work.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I'm trying to find that balance between the two, of having fun and
being serious
about the music. So what I do is I have fun when I'm writing, like when I'm recording the music. When I'm just like, all right, like, well, I guess it is writing, because I don't traditionally write. I punch in, like most artists these days, like, but then I'll go back and then I'll write afterwards, because I'm not doing the whole composition production of my own music. Writing from scratch would be difficult. So what I do is I punch in the melodies after I find them. And when I wrote my second song, as much fun as I had recording it, that was probably the saddest I had been recording all my music.
That's deep.
And it was like I was literally crying from the moment I woke up to the moment I turned the microphone on, and I couldn't figure out why. I had spent like the whole day watching the game on Netflix. I binged the whole thing, and I was like, of course I'm emotional. Like I just finished watching this. But I didn't when I saw it as a kid, I didn't relate to the music. I mean the message behind the material then. And then as an adult watching it, I'm like, oh my God, I just went through that. I just went through this. I just went through that. So I was like, all right, this is why I'm emotional. How do I have fun with it? And I just say whatever I want. Like, because it's nothing but gibberish. Like when I first get on the microphone, it's nothing but gibberish.
It takes time to feel it out.
It's like molding. It's like I compare it to like ceramics.
It's just a blob there, and it slowly comes to form. It's the same thing with like paintings. Like I paint from time to time.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean?
Dope. I've always wanted to kind of bridge into more visual art. Painting, because photos are great. I love photos you capture in time, like a moment in time. But with painting, I feel like there's so much feeling to it.
It's a different artistry.
Like
I don't. My art is like, for me, I would never like release my art, but it's just something that it's like a capsule. You know
I get that. I feel that.
Like I remember where I was or what I was thinking with all my paintings. You know what I mean? It's like a diary.
I get that. I dig that a lot. I like that. Yeah, I need to get more into art. I just went to this really dope art show. It was it was an all-black women's art show. It's like sk.artspace, something like. I really want to like make sure I get their name right, so I can give them a shout out.
We can definitely put them in the bio. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I went to this art show, and I'm looking at all this amazing art that I didn't know. One, that what we consider art, just in general. Like, what is art?
Art is such a broad term.
And yo, I was sitting in this room, and I'm like, hold up, this is dope. I'm like, how did they do this, whatever? And I'm looking, I'm like, really? Like when you break down art, if you try to break down art in like the simplest of ways, it's like impossible, because it's subjective, kind of like music.
Art is it's hard to explain. It's kind of like love. Everybody has their own definition of it. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I love that.
It's definitely. I'm telling you, because I love paintings, and a lot of people don't understand it. So sometimes I'm just there, like just looking.
I don't get it either, because I'm in this art gallery, and I'm just looking around. I'm like,
it takes that one picture to just capture your eye.
One.
And you know what it is? It's crazy. This is years ago. I was probably like 12 or something like that. I went to the Met Museum, and there was this painting of just this guy, just a guy. You know what I mean? It was in this big hall, and I don't know the name of the painting. And it's not my favorite painting now.
No,
but that's the painting that I was just like, yo.
It brought you in.
Yeah, it's something about this. It was green, and it was just a guy. The majority of the picture was green, and it was just a guy who was just there. It was like, what the hell? I've been trying to look for the picture for the longest, and I just can't find it. But
guy in the green background.
Yeah, it's fire. Definitely fire.
Oh man.
That's
dope. That's dope. What was I gonna say?
So what goals do you have like with your music? Like, where do you see it going in the future?
This is where you affirm, and I think
do it.
No, this is where you affirm, and honestly, for the past 4 or 5 months, I've been avoiding that question. I've been avoiding affirming, and it's I don't want to limit myself.
I also don't feel like goals have to be massive.
Yeah, but
you know
like,
what I mean?
I don't want to limit. Like, honestly, since I've gotten into this thing, at first, like when I first cut my first track, it sounded like trash. It was so terrible, and I sent it to my cousin. I was like, I'm just doing this for fun. It's like I just kind of want to see what it would sound like if you professionally mix and mastered it. I was like, hey, but then when I put it out, I was like, all right, cool. And then somebody was like, you want to do a show? And I was like, I don't think of doing a show before, so I guess why not?
Surprise me.
And then the next thing happened, and I'm like, I ain't never think of that either. So
sometimes your goal is to just make the next song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my goal in music is to find a career in it. For real, like I genuinely want to do this like my whole life. I want to continue to make music. When I get messages from people that say that, like, you know, this touched me, or this moved me, or this did this for me, I love that feeling. I mean, my whole thing is like, I want to help people, and I want to make music that I love, like that I love. Like, I don't really care.
So that later down the road when you performing it, it's not like
yeah,
it's not labor. You know what I mean?
You know, like I was just watching one of this artist perform a song, mainstream artist, this track that we all love, and I had recently saw Talib Kweli at the Blue Note, and he said I had to go back and rehearse and re-practice and relearn all my songs because he's like, even though I know the words and I feel them, it's like I'm just kind of going through emotions at this point. He's like, I know this song like the back of my hand, so I'm just gonna do this, I'm gonna do this move, I'm gonna do that. And a part of me started to feel that way, even though I don't have a ton of music to perform or anything, but like I was doing as many shows as I possibly can, and I started to feel myself kind of like, But then I was like, wait, no, I really do love this song. Like, and once you kind of like feel yourself going through the motions, you're like, wait, no, I really love this song. And I really love all the music that I have out right now. There's not a song that I'm like, oh, well, I kind of wish I did that better or anything else like that. There is room for improvement.
When you get booked for performances and they ask you to perform a certain song, it's not like, oh, that one. It's
yeah,
like, yes, I can't wait to perform
exactly.
That one. You know what I mean?
Because like I was getting Bleeding Snow for like a month, like literally like all summer long, like June, July, last summer. No, I didn't get August, but June and July I did like maybe 4 or 5 shows back to back in both months, and they kept asking for Bleeding Snow, and I'm like, all right,
cool,
all right. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fun. But then for me, I'm like, I gotta do that one. So like now I gotta find a way to kind of mix it in the set, or am I moving things around? So I mean, like, it's cool when they like that one song or you whatever. But like for me, I'm like, I love all of it. You know.
Some people they blow up over songs that they don't necessarily like. Or
I'm afraid of that one.
Like especially nowadays with like TikTok and stuff. Like that, they'll find your song and then make a dance to it, and you'll blow up off of that. And
dude.
It's like, that song, why didn't you pick this one? Like, you know what I mean? So
that's what I'm like.
The more you like all your songs, the easier it will be, you know.
Listen, my friends hated my second song, The Code. They, I mean, I won't say they hated it, but they didn't necessarily appreciate it. Yeah. And then I sent it to a friend in London I met. Shout out to Storm. I sent it to her, and she jokes about it, but she's like, "Yeah, I was like listening to your record," and she's like, out of nowhere, my body just started to move. And she's like, your voice came on. She's like, your voice. And I was like, yo, I appreciate that, because when I play it for my friends here, it's also a regional thing. But it's like, that's why I gotta make music that I love. Because when they did, you know, there's songs that I've sent people that aren't even finished yet. And I get that initial reaction like, oh, yeah, this ain't it, or whatever. Like, my brain will register and be like, was I right? Like, I start questioning my own internal feeling. But then I'm like, all right, cool, music is subjective.
Definitely is.
It's gonna be for somebody else. It ain't necessarily for that person you sent it to listen to. And that doesn't mean it's a bad song. It's just more so like,
find your pockets.
Yeah, and like that one record went from London to LA. Like, it moved around. And when I'm watching it move and these DJs are picking it up, I'm like, oh shit, like, it's not a bad song. It's just not for y'all.
It's just not for you.
Yeah, that's why I say you can't make a bad song. Like, you really can't make a bad song.
So,
go ahead.
Reference point. That's what it is. Everyone has a reference point.
Yeah, because people have been saying, all right, I did that show at Cafe Azuli this past weekend, and as I'm doing sound check, one of the hosts comes up to me and she goes, "You kind of sound like Trey Songz." And I was like, all right. And I kind of like,